gonna be in a podcast tonight. I wanted to film the whole thing with this camera, but both of the SD cards are completely full, so I can literally shoot like this shot and then they're full. So I'm gonna go ahead to Office Max, get a couple SD cards, and then go head to the podcast. Where are their SD cards? All right, problem solved. So this podcast that I'm going to be on tonight hosts entrepreneurs who share their stories just about building a business and a brand and about how they market themselves and basically just give their advice and input to others who are trying to do the same kind of things. Let me switch to this camera really quick. So I was talking to my friend Keenan today. He's a vlogger on YouTube. I'll link him right here. We were talking about YouTube and talking about how like we both create YouTube videos. And he brought up something that was really interesting and something that I feel like I don't do enough. And that is share my photography and my videography that I do. I don't really talk a lot about like my own story and my own thesis on how I brand myself and how I've gotten to where I am. I've worked my ass off to try and create Martin Moore the brand, and I want to start sharing more about, you know, how I did that, how I do that, some of the things that have worked, some of the things that have failed for me personally, to hopefully help you guys who are just getting into photography or video or making YouTube videos. I know in like the grand scheme of things, I'm like just a speck on the radar, but I have had some success in Milwaukee. I've made over like 20 videos for companies in Milwaukee. I've made videos for On Milwaukee. I made a commercial for Cost. I'm making videos for a huge real estate company here in the city. So I feel like I do have some advice to offer, and hopefully there's little bits of information in there that you can use to start building your own thing. But that's kind of what this podcast that I'm doing tonight is all about, sharing my journey and my story. And so I kind of want to take you guys along with me on that and share more of that aspect of my life. All right, let's go do this podcast. What's going on?
How you doing, man?
How are you doing?
I'm fucking awesome.
Nice to see you again.
All right.
I'm excited.
No doubt. It's good, man. Been really busy.
Oh, this is fancy. This is a nice little setup.
This is all new for me.
Okay.
So this is just the new office for us and stuff like this that we're building.
Sure.
And then out here is going to be where we're going to have a fun area for the sales staff and stuff like that.
Oh, that'll be cool. So this is where the go-kart track goes, right?
Yeah, you would think so, right? We're gonna, you know, where guys can come in, do some work, do some printing, hang out for a little bit. We want a culture of, you know, come into work,
yeah,
but have fun.
I like that.
You know, so that's really key.
We'll get this in the background too, because this looks cool. All right, so this is Rob. Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Rob Kochansky. We're here today. We're going to do Wallet Toast Advice Givers. It's a podcast that I host. We interview business leaders, community leaders that can really help out. And then what we're really looking to do with this in a year or two is similar to what Tim Ferriss has done. We're going to turn this into a book. It's really going to help out. So I'm excited about this kind of stuff. We also got a book, Value Driven Approach to Sell Real Estate, that I've authored. Ooh. So we also have that available too. So those are kind of my passions. This is all new to me, but it's fun.
Yes, I'm super excited. This is only my second podcast I've ever been on, so.
Okay. You know, it's just a little bit of a learning experience for me as well.
Do you mind if I record some of this?
Oh,
put it in the vlog?
You can put it out all you want. I mean, if you want to set it up, we can do video at the same time. That would be awesome.
Awesome. We'll do that. Testing. Unique in New York. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. The aardvark has oddly shaped feet. That's my favorite one of all of them. If you ever need a pair of Cost headphones, I can hook you up. That was a shameless plug, by the way.
Right. Wallet Toast Advice Givers. Today we have great guest here. We have Martin Moore, freelance commercial photographer and vlogger. So we're going to learn a lot about him today and what he does and what his story's like. So welcome, Martin.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you for having me.
So go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your story. Where'd you grow up? What'd you like to do? How did you become involved in photography and videography?
My name is Martin Moore, for those of you who don't know who I am. I've lived in Milwaukee my entire life. I started doing photography just like everybody else, picked up a camera, shot pictures back in like high school, took photography in high school. parted ways with that for like a decade and got into music heavily. And then when that didn't work out in like 2007 or 8-ish, I picked up the camera again. I took a trip with my wife to Las Vegas, Nevada. It was like the first trip we'd ever been on. And I bought like this crappy little Kodak point and shoot camera. And as soon as we were up in the air, I started taking pictures. And then when I got home, I edited them on this like really cheap, free like program on my Mac. About a year after that, I started doing weddings. I started doing some pictures for some companies and stuff like that. But it really didn't start picking up until I started my YouTube channel. So I've always been making videos. Like every trip that I've ever been on, I've made like these really cheesy vacation videos. Even that first trip that I went on in 2008 with my wife to Las Vegas. And so that kind of like metamorphosized into using Snapchat, and that was really when I started like sharing my own personal life with the rest of the world and not just people that were on like these trips with me and these videos that we would watch at like Thanksgiving or like on like a wine night. I started vlogging. First I researched to see if there's vloggers in Milwaukee, and there's virtually nobody that does it with any kind of consistency.
No, there's not.
Yes, and so I was like, one, it would be cool to like not only share my life, but two, it would be cool to share Milwaukee, because there's just not a lot of like original, authentic, honest content about the city. And so my first vlog that I did, I went down to Bradford Beach and I just went to a bunch of random people, totally like nervous as hell, and I was like, you know, what's your favorite thing about Milwaukee? Everybody said beer. It transformed into less about my life and more about just like showing off the city. Then I started working with companies. I think the first one that I did a vlog for was Hometown Yogis. They're like a yoga instruction thing, and they invited me to the art museum to do yoga, which was like crazy. It's a pretty funny vlog if you've ever seen it. Like I tried to do all these yoga poses that
yoga's
I
hard.
completely fail at. And I did that for them. And then I did one for like Milwaukee Kayak, and then MK Boat Line, then the Safe House. And then next thing I knew, the Hyatt was putting me up to stay there to check out View, which is like their new, it used to be Polaris. I ended up getting a deal with like Koss headphones, where Michael Koss Jr. saw my YouTube videos and reached out to me and said, hey, I see you make these videos, you do photography, like we'd love to bring you in here and like do a campaign for us and see how it goes. Then On Milwaukee noticed me. I started making videos for them, and so like my photography and my videography really took off after I started my YouTube videos, which was kind of weird. And so now I've kind of come full circle. I did my photography, then I went to like YouTube videos, and then now I'm back to photography again, and I'm not focusing so heavily on YouTube videos. Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
Awesome. How did I do?
You did awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Yes. I say a lot.
and I do too, and I smack my lips, and I noticed you did that too, so I did all that shit out there.
So when and where can people listen to your podcast?
Well, they can go to wauwatosa@vicegivers.com.
I'll put a link.
Put a link right there.
Right there.
wauwatosa@vicegivers.com. You'll be on there. I'm on iTunes as well, Stitcher.
Okay.
Just Google search or search on either one of those.
So people can search for you on iTunes, subscribe to your podcast. I'll put all your links in the description too. So go into the description. I'll put all the links for his podcast in there. And then when will this one be up?
This one is just probably looking at probably beginning of May.
Okay, perfect. I'll let you guys know like on Twitter when it's up.
It's fun.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear it. They need to fill this with more candy.
They do.
All right, thanks, man. It was nice seeing you. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, stay in touch, man.
I will, absolutely.
Most definitely.
Have a good one.
You too.
Man, that went well. I'm super excited to listen to this podcast once it's done. Again, I'll throw up his podcast in the description. Make sure you go follow him on iTunes. Time to go home. I can't get over how well that went. I just started doing like podcasts. Next month I'm doing a speaking event at a photography club, and like I've never really had the opportunity to share my story and kind of share my thesis on like hard work, and like what it is I do, and just like the history of my photography and my video. So I kind of like it.